You can do some crazy stuff with options, like 10K to 90K.
Zero days to expiration options, or zero DTE, have exploded in popularity in the last year. They allow investors to bet on stock market moves within the same day, which can result in big wins and big losses.
This is one of the biggest shifts I've seen in markets of the past decade.
Here's why zero DTE options have taken off, despite being some of the riskiest in the entire market.
So I got into zero DTE in 2020 during the whole lockdown.
Drayson Little graduated from college in 2021 and has been trading options full-time for about a year. He lives in Las Vegas, so his day typically starts around 5:30 a.m., an hour before the market opens on the East Coast.
First things first is I'll head over to Twitter. That's where I get all my news.
On big news days, like when inflation data is released, he says it's easier to spot a trend in the market.
You can see a massive move into and from that PCE number,
which he says is the best time to trade zero DTE.
In 1 minute, I had made $100.
He says he usually bets a few $1,000s per trade. One of his biggest one-day profits was about $14,000, and biggest loss was about $12,000.
It's like euphoria, it's like winning a lottery. But then you also have your crazy lows.
Zero DTE options expire the same day they're purchased, which is why
they are some of the most sensitive to changes in the stock's price. So that's why you can see them zip higher or crash incredibly quickly.
But that's also part of the reason they're so appealing to traders.
Your upside potential is infinite. It can be 500%, it could be 1,000%.
Traders are also drawn to zero DTE options because they're cheaper than longer dated contracts. But
often the odds are stacked against you. A lot of these retail traders do end up losing a lot of money.
Drayson says some of his biggest losses occurred in his first year of trading.
I think I probably lost at the time during 2020 upwards of $65,000. And this was when I was a full-time student. I was an entrepreneur before. I had made some money from e-commerce. I lost 20-30% of it. And it's just it just feels really bad, to be honest with you.
But he says the possibility of big wins enticed him to keep trading.
The thing is with a 9 to 5, it's not scalable. You only make so much during these hours compared to trading where you take one crazy trade, just one trade, and you make $1 million.
This type of options trading has long been reserved for professionals with sophisticated technology and tools. But in the last few years, retail traders have played a big role in driving zero DTE trading volumes to record highs.
It's really become a viral phenomenon. When I was looking at hashtags for zero DTE online, there are tens of thousands of mentions of zero DTE just this year alone. A few years ago, there were no such mentions.
Part of the reason is that options exchanges expanded zero DTE contracts to every day of the week last year to capitalize on this boom.
And that just unleashed a frenzy of activity. And traders I was talking to were saying, we've never seen something take off the way zero DTE trading has.
Many of these retail traders started with meme stocks.
This is really the continuation of a trend the past few years as more people have entered markets where they want to bet on sports, they want to bet at the casino, and they also want to bet on stocks.
But some experts think all this betting could mean trouble for the market.
There's a lot of concern from a lot of industry analysts and pundits that suggest that zero DTE could kind of bring about an end-of-day scenario in markets.
That's because when professional traders buy or sell options, they also buy or sell stocks to hedge their positions.
That creates worries that if there is a big move in the market and all of a sudden someone's doing a ton of buying and selling of options, that could ripple over into the stock market.
For example, during the meme stock mania, there were concerns that options activity was exacerbating the volatility.
I think a lot of the fear now is that zero DTE volumes will put the market in the same position. The odds of that happening is a lot lower than in a situation like GameStop or meme mania.
While this concern is hotly debated on Wall Street, Kochuba says zero DTE options have become such a large part of trading that when there's an unexplainable move in the market,
you can look at the zero DTE volumes and movement in zero DTE and understand that this could be driving those strange behaviors.
I wouldn't regret anything. I honestly find it has taught me a lot more things and has leveled me up as a person rather than pull me down.
With the money he made from trading, he says he was able to buy
one of my dream cars, the AMG GTR, get back to my family, travel around the world, and then I bought a Rolex, so that was pretty cool.
He says his goal for next year is to make 6 figures every month and launch an options trading course.
You're gonna have your lows, you're gonna have your highs, but as long as you just keep moving forward, you'll eventually get to your end goal.